Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
My podcast. My name is Jackie K, and this is Sipping with Jack. On this episode, we'll be discussing Amber Guyger, the ex-cop who killed her neighbor. We'll also be talking about forgiveness mentality, Trump's impeachment, and so much more. And I know some people are like tripping out a little bit because I usually do this on an auto form, but y'all, I felt a little inspired. I felt a little different, so I decided to do a live version of this. And you will see me look down at my iPad just because I'm very used to doing that, doing the auto version. And also, I apologize if you can see the reflection of my ring light in my glasses, but your girl need to see things, so I apologize for that. Into the podcast, just wanted to get you guys some information. This week I will be highlighting my favorite drink of the week, which is a banana split cocktail, which I have right here. This is a very flavorful drink, and it's very strong, so be careful with that. But before we get into all of these juicy topics, let's get into how to make the drink of the week. This is a single serving cocktail, as you can see, but if you want a full batch, just adjust the proportions to make as much as you need it to be. And this is the liquor that I'm actually using. Hope you guys can see that. Ooh. It is a banana liquor that I used, and you can use other type of liquors. I know there's banana vodka, there's banana rum, but I wanted to use a banana liqueur just because that's kind of my vibe and that's what I had on hand. So the recipe is very simple. All you need is 1 ounce of banana liqueur. Then you need 1 ounce of tequila, and then just top it off with Sprite in a nice glass full of ice. And I probably need to stop sipping because I need to get into these topics, y'all. But if you are interested in any more recipes, please check out my blog, which is SippingwithJack.com, for more recipes. Also, you can find my podcast on my blog too. But now, let's get sipping. So as I said, this podcast will be discussing Amber Guyger. We'll be discussing the forgiveness situation in there. And I'm going to start off kind of just giving some background information if you guys did not know. So Amber Guyger, and I apologize if I'm saying her last name incorrectly, but that's what I'm going to pronounce it as. So Amber Guyger is the woman who shot her upstairs neighbor, thinking that she basically thought that this man was in her apartment and shot him. Okay, story seems really weird, blah, blah, blah. But she was just recently sentenced to 10 years in prison for that crime. And I'm not gonna lie, I knew exactly how much time she was gonna get. I remember following this case, and I remember telling my sister, I'm like, she's not gonna get more than 10 years for this. And exactly, she gets 10 years. And I'm kind of like frustrated with how much time she got because she did kill an individual. And I know some people are going to be like, well, it's an accident. I don't know how many people can walk into another person's apartment and shoot them without like discussing or just saying like, what are you doing? I don't know all about that stuff. But for example, I have, like, when I used to live in downtown, we had an elevator in our apartment complex because it was a high-rise, and I did accidentally go to the wrong floor, the floor above me, and I walked up to the door, but then I literally looked at the number, and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't my place. So for her to shoot this man in his apartment, not even like look around, be like, sis, is this doesn't look like my couch, this doesn't look like my apartment, this, like, can you, for a second, she didn't even like think. So for me, it's just a very frustrating story, and it really truly hurts me that this man, who was very educated, he was an accountant, he was just a man who was relaxing in his own home, was gunned down by an individual, and that breaks my heart. But let's move on from that. So basically, the sentencing issue, we're gonna move over there. So when she was sentenced, the jury had two options. They could have gone with manslaughter or murder, and they chose the murder option, which, thank you, because if she got manslaughter, she probably would have not served more than 7 years. So I appreciate that. The thing that happened afterwards is what truly bothered me about this whole case. And I'm going to be really nice and try to keep it, politically correct. The reaction after she was sentenced was where the issue came from me. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't... See, this is the thing. It's so hard for me not to just rip into this situation. I want to come with a more unbiased, more educational reason for me to express this. So, in the courtroom, there was a black judge, and there was a female black bailiff. And first of all, when I saw these two people in the courtroom before she was sentenced, I was like, black lady courtroom, black lady courtroom. And if you guys watch the Black Lady sketch show off of HBO, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a black queen sitting on this. She is presiding over this. I was like, girl, give me life. And then immediately I regretted that. Because after she was sentenced, after she was, found guilty, the judge came up to her and gave her a hug and like a motivational speech. I was like, why, sis? Like, I'm confused. And then the bailiff was like fixing her hair, like almost babying her, and I was confused about that. And I know some people were like really mad at the family for forgiving her and all that stuff. I can't go into that stuff personally, because you don't know how the family should respond. I think the family has every right to do whatever they want, because they're the ones who lost it, a family member. I can't be like, well, you shouldn't forgive. But that's the way that they moved on. The only thing that I was kind of side-eyeing was, I think a family member said, I hope we can become friends in the future. I'd be like, hell no. We can never be friends. I'm going to forgive you, but we are not going to be friends because you murdered my family members. Bye, Felicia. We're not going to be friends. But I think the true issue that I had was the judge and the bailiff. I feel like that just crossed the line, and that showed how babied this woman was during this situation. She was a woman who walked into another man's house, killed him, and then it's like, oh girl, baby girl, be okay, be fine. And I'm like, if this was Antoine who shot someone, mistaking their apartment for his, he wouldn't have been hugged. He wouldn't have any of that stuff. And that's what truly bothers me. Because some people are like, the thing is, I remember talking to my stepmom, and she was like, well, I think they were just doing it because I don't think she understood what she did. And I was like, are you kidding me? This woman was a former cop, and she's in a line of work where you see the best and the worst of individuals, and you're telling me she doesn't understand her actions of killing someone. I was like, I don't believe that. And I feel like some people like to baby white women, and I know that that's going to sound harsh to some people, but some women, especially white women, are very babied by other individuals. And I say this because there's a lot of white women that are trying to get rid of that stigma against them. They're trying to fight and show that we're strong, we're equal, we're powerful. But other people put it on them to be like, oh, we're weak, we don't know what we're doing. And hence, some white women that weaponize it. And I think Amber did weaponize that against her. So I kind of just don't want to go that deep into it, you know, the whole situation, because there's so much besides the whole judge, you know, giving her a hug, and I know she gave a Bible, which I think that's good for her, because I am a Christian. I do want her to learn and grow from it, but I'm not going to baby a killer, because honestly, that is what she did. She killed someone, and I'm not going to skirt around the situation where like, oh, it's an accident, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, there's someone whose life was taken at her hands, and I think that's what we need to stop and realize, that there is a whole individual that is gone because of her actions. Oh, child. So I'm gonna, you know, take a sip. I hope everyone else is gonna take a sip too with me. And we're gonna get into the second part of this whole case. This case, I'm telling you, is very sketchy. So if you guys don't know, one of the key witnesses, and he was one of the main key witnesses that basically spoke and said that Amber never said anything to him. She just basically point blank just shot him without saying any words. And he was in the vicinity, so he could hear things happening. So he unfortunately was gunned down on Friday after this whole situation happened. And you know what the next day her team did? They wanted an appeal for the case. And if that does not sound sketchy to y'all, which that sounds very sketchy to me, how are you going to tell me that the key witness passes away and now you're asking for an appeal? I'm just saying, that silence that I have right there, I ain't trying to say it's like suspicious, a little conspiracy, but it definitely is not making sense for me. That just sounds very sketchy and very uncomfortable. And I know some people are going to be like, well, passing away technically doesn't mean that her team or her crew did anything wrong. But let's remember, when Amber did shoot the young man who was in his apartment, the police station that she worked for did order a search warrant after his passing to cover up his murder. So that's all I'm saying. I want to let you guys really understand that there's other things playing out here. And I want everyone to realize that this is not a case where we can just be like, oh, well, she doesn't know what she did. She was just protecting herself because she was scared. I'm going to be honest. I put her to a higher standard because she knows. She knows better. She knows, and especially being in that line of work, you know better. So that's all I'm going to leave it to. She knows better, and I'm not going to give her a little scapegoat little situation, and I'm not going to overlook anything that's happening around this case, because there's things that are happening and I'm not appreciating it, and I hope things get resolved better, because I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And I hope her appeal gets rejected immediately. Because the case was so solid that there shouldn't be a reason to have an appeal. Like, at all. So, let us move on to our next topic. I hope that wasn't so heavy for everybody. But, you know, we're sipping right now. So, we can take it a little loosely. The next topic is going to be Trump's impeachment. I honestly don't know how I feel about this. You can clearly see that I'm a black woman, so you know I did not vote for him. We're going to say that now. You can just look at the statistics of how many black women voted for him, and it's not that much. And also, I am an immigrant woman. I was born in Africa, so yeah, we definitely not supporting him. But the other day, I was kind of just listening to the whole situation where they now feel like they need to impeach him after all of the other things he's done for like the last 3 years. Okay, we can impeach him now. And it's just interesting because I was watching CNN, and this is another reason why you have to take news with a grain of salt. I personally believe you have to take news with a grain of salt, because everyone has a motive of giving you information. When I was watching CNN, they were basically saying, well, we have to see more information and see, like, all of that stuff. And I'm just confused because I'm like, and I remember it was Don Lemon and then the other guy, which I can't remember his name, but Don Lemon was not having it. And I'm really starting to appreciate Don Lemon because I feel like he got his black card back again. And he's like, nah, we're shutting this down. Like, it's not okay. And basically Don Lemon's like, how do we need more information? He's basically done A, B, and C. We clearly see it, like he's asked Ukraine and I believe China to investigate the Bidens, and which is not okay. I don't know if you don't know that, but a president should not ask a foreign officer, foreign official, or any foreign country to interfere with our elections, which basically he was doing. And oh my gosh, it's just so frustrating because he's basically asking them to interfere with our elections and find dirt on the Bidens, which, honey, are you scared? Because that makes me look like you're scared. But I was also saying to someone else, I feel like this is just him being a gangster. This is just gangster mentality, and this is someone who craves and needs power because he can't do it on his own, so he's going to ask someone else to do it so his hands are clean of the situation, even though they're not that clean because, auntie, we found it. We found all of it. And it just surprised me because there's some people still out here who are openly saying that, oh, we need more information. We can't just go off of this. We need more information. I'm like, y'all impeached Bill Clinton for saying he don't know her. So where are our standards, America? Are we going to impeach him because has done very sketchy things in the presidency, or are we just going to what we're gonna wait until more information? Because I feel like the Mueller report was enough information for us to think, I don't think this man is good. But even that, I feel like during his initial campaign, he was not doing good enough for us to think that he holds the standard of being our president. But I digress. I guess clearly we can take a lot more than what we thought we could, and I don't know. This whole situation is very messy, and I hope that it works out, that he does get impeached, because I feel like we can't keep having this man in this office and doing whatever he wants, because you know what the next president's gonna do? Do whatever he wants to do, and we can't hold that standard with our office, our main office. Oh my goodness, it really breaks my heart because I graduated with a political science degree, so I hurt when I see our political system just it just hurts, y'all. It just really, really hurts, and I want to see him get impeached, but let me just say, everything I think that's gonna happen, it doesn't. So I'm honestly not holding my breath with the situation, but I hope people use common sense. Honestly, that's at the end of the day, I hope everyone uses common sense and sees what's happening to us, and especially our country, for face value. I feel like people are waiting for more and more, but I'm like, he's already showed us enough he's already shown us enough. I don't know. I'm out. That's all I'm saying. Like, at this point, I am trying to be respectful, but throw him out. Like, I feel like he's done. He needs to go. Like, he really needs to go. And it's not even funny. Like, he needs to go. Okay. So now let's move on to our next topic. And this topic, I wanted to make it a Trigger Trish story, but I'm not going to make it just because I feel like this needs its own platform to just be showcased besides me just ranting about a story. This story is a story that truly actually breaks my heart to even talk about. And if anyone doesn't know the story, this actually happened over in England, and this is the story of a diplomat's wife. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to say I don't know why I'm having such a hard time to say this story, because it truly does break my heart. But in England, there was a woman who ended up being a diplomat's wife, hit an individual on a motorbike. And unfortunately, this young man, his name is Harry Dunn, which we're going to say his name because he deserves more justice than what he's getting. Harry Dunn was unfortunately, he passed away due to all the injuries that he was sustained during that hit and run, may I add. So why this story is so frustrating to me is because the wife of the diplomat, and she's a U.S. diplomat's wife, she fled the country. Basically, she just left. She called for diplomatic immunity, which diplomatic immunity is basically a diplomat, and it extends to their family. That's why she's able to get it. They're basically immune to any crimes, or they basically can do whatever they want and never get in trouble. That's basically what it is. So this woman hit this young man whose name is Harry Dunn, and I'm going to say his name because he deserves more justice than what he's getting. He basically passed away due to this woman's actions, and they know who she is. They know exactly what she did, but this woman was able to use diplomatic immunity on herself, and she basically fled to America. She hit this man, he died of his injuries, and now she's in the U.S. living her best life, not even having to deal with the consequences of taking someone's life. I know. Is this real life? Are we living in real life? I don't know. I'm confused too. So basically, it's just really sad because I was watching the story on BBC America, and the family is just heartbroken and devastated, and I feel so bad because Harry was going to visit his dad, and he never got to make it, and I think it hurts because the family is just heartbroken, and all they received was a letter from the U.S. ambassador, which, child, take that letter and I would slap them straight across the face for even trying to send me a letter and say we apologize, because at the end of the day, no one's going to get justice for Harry's death. Harry passed away and that was it. That was like, okay, well, sorry, bye, deuces. Like, that was just how the story, I don't know. It just breaks my heart to feel like this woman is not going to get anything to her because she claimed immunity, diplomatic immunity against this situation. And it was interesting because the British police, they actually tried to have it waived because they were like, we can't accept this. Like, you killed someone, miss. Miss! Yes, you, miss, which I don't know your name, but you, miss, if you're watching this, you killed someone, and yet you're not facing any consequences, and that hurts my heart. But anyway, as I was saying before, the British police were like, no, this is not okay. So they tried to waive the diplomatic immunity, and it's very rare that they ever do that because, you know, they're like, we don't want to brush up on the wrong tree. Is that the right saying? I don't know. Nah, whatever. I said I'm an immigrant. You know, I'm foreign. Sometimes the sayings don't work out that well for me. But basically, they declined. The embassy was like, we are not going to waive the diplomatic immunity for her. She's going to keep it, and she's going to have it. And I don't know. It just still breaks my heart because now we're in another situation where another person, I feel like, is just not getting justice for what happened to them. Truly, because these people, especially to the young gentleman that was, you know, killed by Amber, and now this young gentleman, Harry, was killed by this woman, they're not going to get justice in the way that I feel like they should get justice. I'm gonna be open and honest. The way that I feel that they're not getting justice for what happened to them. And it's mind-blowing to see that there's people who can just get away with things, and I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that, and I really want more justice done, and I want to see people step up and do the right thing, because if, I'm going to be honest, if these both individuals were not white women, they would have a harsher sentence. They would be seen to the full extent of what they've done, but they are not. And it just is frustrating. It honestly purely is frustrating just to hear this story. And I hope people, like, especially since I know some people don't really listen to British news or international news, I hope you guys hear this story and get justice for, you know, this situation, because people need to be held accountable for things. And if you guys listen to this story, just spread the news, spread it all around, especially the Amber Guyger case, spread it around to everybody, because it's just not okay. Not okay. Before I move on to my last story of the day, which is going to be my trigger section of the podcast, just make sure that we are speaking these people's names, especially Banana Liqueur, who was the young man that his life was taken while he was just in the comfort of his own home, and Harry Dunn, who was tragically hit by a car on his way to see his father. Speak these people's names because I want them to know that they are cared for, they're loved, even though something tragic has happened to them. We will not forget what these people have done to you. And just speak their names. Speak their names because they're the true victims, not these people that are getting the spotlight and the shine. Those are the people that truly need to be broadcast and shown for their good work and their love and all of that stuff. Just so, Bethlehem, Jean, and Harry Dunn, we are praying for you. And it breaks my heart to just say that, but we care. We care for you and your family, and we want to see more justice done for you guys. So this week, I won't be doing a Trigger Trish story of this week, simply because I feel like all of the main stories that I did talk about were particularly heavy, and they're just heavy topics, and I don't want to go on and start ranting about another silly story, which I usually do. But I will finish up with a little fewer, like, smaller stories that I saw this week, and I kind of want to touch up on it. The one story I really wanted to talk about was Stacey Dash and her arrest, basically. And I'm sorry, I'm about to start laughing because I think this is honestly karma for her to be saying, like, oh, I don't think we should have Black History Month, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was talking so much mess back in the day, and now she literally has gotten in trouble. Unfortunately, her husband was, a victim of domestic abuse, and that's not okay. And now she is in jail, and the funny part of the story, and that's what I'm laughing about, is she poor. Apparently, she can't afford a lawyer, and she's asking for a public defender, which I'm like, sis, apparently you be talking about, getting rid of all of this Black stuff. And she also wrote that she was white on her booking. I think her booking, like, paper or whatever they call it. She indicated her race as white. Sorry, girl, did you not have white money? You don't have white money now, so you're poor. I don't know. I just thought this was so funny because I'm like, karma really worked hard, girl. Karma worked in our favor today. And you know what? Karma even let us see. Karma let us watch. I'm super happy about that. The other story I kind of wanted to talk about was Tiffany Haddish lying on Chingy. I don't appreciate this story. I actually do not find Tiffany Haddish funny. I know, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more people that don't find her funny than funny. So I ain't scared to say that. I feel like Tiffany Haddish is not funny. I feel like she really profits off of the Black woman stereotype, and I'm not about that, especially because a dark-skinned woman. I don't appreciate that narrative at all. I especially don't appreciate that Hollywood is pushing that storyline, and I don't know. I don't particularly care for Tiffany Haddish or her comedic style, and as I was saying, she really does like to exploit the Black woman stereotype of being overly sexualized, bringing chicken to the Met Gala. Like, it's just, honey, it's tiring. Like, honestly, I'm gonna say I'm bored. I'm really bored about the whole situation. Like, I'm bored with her, and I don't like her comedic style. And what was funny is that she went on Ellen, and I think they were doing the burning questions. I was just watching a clip of it because I don't watch Ellen at all. The thing that was funny is that she lied and said that she was hooking up with Chingy, which wasn't true. And I'm like, Tiffany, if it's not true, then don't say it. Even, like, and the thing is, what bothers me is because I just watched a documentary about Chingy, and Chingy don't deserve any of this, because Chingy's career was actually destroyed by a young woman who said that she slept with him. And I'm gonna be honest, this was the early 2000s, so we weren't, especially in the hip-hop community, we weren't very accepting of trans women. So basically this trans woman, I think her name was Sydney, lied on Chingy and basically said they hooked up and, you know, all that stuff, and she was a trans woman. So basically he lost a lot of business from that, and his career never really recovered after that. Even though I remember Chingy was hot and popping, he was like right there, Holiday Inn, like he was giving us music, and all of a sudden he just dropped off, and it was basically because of that woman that lied. And now I don't know why Tiffany Haddish is making up a lie. And what I found was so interesting, after she claimed this lie, Chingy came out and basically said, this isn't true. She was hooking up with my brother. She never hooked up with me. And people were like defending Tiffany Haddish. They're like, just let her say what she wants to say. I'm like, no, she lied. And she does this a lot. And I don't necessarily want to say she lies, but she always talks about, like, you know, I remember her saying, like, oh, her and Drake were supposed to, like, go on a date and it never worked. She just likes to talk a lot. And I feel like now I'm starting to question if she's saying things, question if the thing she's saying is even true. I don't even know if Drake even asked her to go on a date. I don't know about any of these people, because Tiffany Haddish is so sexually aggressive as an individual that it literally makes me question anything. And especially since, you know, Vic Mensa, he came out and said that Tiffany Haddish sexually assaulted her and groped her in the club. Like, she grabbed his junk, and he was like, whoa, like, girl, calm down, all of that stuff. So I don't trust Tiffany Haddish. Like, I don't trust her at all. And I feel like for her to even say that literally tarnishes her a little more. And she talks too much, too, about the, you know, the whole Beyonce thing, her getting bit in the face. Like, just stop. Whatever you're doing, just stop, because it ain't working. Especially, it's frustrating me. And I don't know. I just feel like I just don't like her. And I don't like this whole story that came out where she's just lying on people. And, you know, finding out that she's sexually assaulting men out here, too. Like, there's, you know, I don't feel like there's any way to go around that. But just stop being so thirsty. I think that's just what bothers me. It's like, there can be women who are, you know, are free, be whatever you want to be. But then there's Tiffany Haddish who's always be like, she ready. Like, I don't know. And, like, for her to grab men's junk, like, that crosses the line of being, you know, now being, like, almost a predator. Like, I don't appreciate that, and I don't like that. And if she was a man, people would not like that. People would come at her neck. But since she's a comedian and she's a black woman, I feel like people are giving her the pass. And as me being a black woman, I am not going to give her the pass. I'm just not. And I think that behavior is not good. And I feel like it's showcasing bad behavior to other individuals. Like, that is not okay to do. So, let us wrap up basically everything. You know, let me catch my breath. I hope you guys really like this live version of this podcast. I just want to try something new. I don't want to just always be behind the camera and just behind the mic. I want to show you guys that I'm here. This is how I look like, everybody. And I hope you guys still, you know, stay around, keep listening. And I truly appreciate all the support that I have been getting. And I hope we just keep growing. And if you guys have any questions or just want to talk in the comment section, I'm totally down for that. And I will link all of the articles that I was using during this podcast, if I remember. And if I don't, someone please snatch my wig. But be gentle on these edges, okay? Be gentle on them. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and great week. And I will see you guys next time. And don't forget to keep on sipping. I'll see you guys later.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.